want to talk about our superpower. Humans have a superpower. And that superpower is our ability to convince ourselves that something is true when it's not. 75% of us have convinced ourselves that we are an imposter or a fraud when it comes to our jobs and careers. Or worse, we've convinced ourselves that we are not worthy and not good enough that we don't even try. Did you earn that job you have, or were you just lucky? Psychologists refer to this as the imposter syndrome. So what is it? The imposter syndrome is that questioning of our achievements and then living with the fear that someone's going to find out that we're not good enough and that we've been faking it and that we're a fraud. While 75% of us suffer from imposter syndrome, some recent studies have shown that women actually suffer from imposter syndrome at an even higher rate. I'm Phil McKinney. I'm an award-winning author. I host an award-winning nationally syndicated talk radio show. I retired as the Chief Technology Officer for Hewlett-Packard before landing here in Colorado to become the CEO at CableLabs. I've been on most every national news program, and I've been profiled on newspapers and magazines around the world. With my career, you would think that I would be comfortable with my own achievements. That is not the case. I lived with the majority of my career in the absolute fear that people would find out that I am an imposter with a secret. April 2007, I'm being interviewed for a front page cover profile in the San Jose Mercury News, the newspaper of Silicon Valley. Everything is going great until we get to the last question. And that last question set off an absolute panic attack. My imposter syndrome kicked in and was telling me that the world was now going to figure out that I was a fraud. So what was it that set off the panic attack? Well, what set off the panic attack was a secret that I had protected and had never shared before. And that secret was, I never graduated from college. Now, I know some of you are in your head going, so what? A lot of people never graduate from college and go on and have phenomenal careers. That's the point. When you live with imposter syndrome, whatever you think disqualifies you is the secret you will do anything to protect. And in my case, my secret was going to be revealed on the front page of a newspaper. So April 29, 2007, my executive profile appears on the front pages of the San Jose Mercury News. And there in the sidebar is my secret. He left college without graduating. This was on the front page of the Sunday edition, so all I had to do was sit back and wait for the repercussions, whatever they may be. So Monday morning, I go into the offices at HP and wait. It didn't take me long to figure out what the repercussions were going to be. And those were nothing. The world didn't care. I had spent 25 years nurturing a secret that now was in the full press, and the stress and the fear were gone. I had let my superpower convince me that I was a fraud, and it was a lie. And that's when I figured out that it was the secret that was fueling my imposter syndrome. It was that secret. And by sharing that secret, I took away that power. Now, in reality, I didn't share my secret. My secret was shared for me on the front page of a national newspaper. Not my best choice in revealing a deep personal secret. Now, following this, I've been talking and sharing about my struggles with imposter syndrome, both in talks like this and on my radio show. And the response that I have received has been overwhelming, with people wanting to share their struggles with imposter syndrome. That has opened up my eyes that the imposter syndrome struggle doesn't know anything about career, title, socioeconomic, identity, history. The imposter syndrome is absolutely universal. In fact, I've had team members who work for me who've had such severe cases of imposter syndrome that it was absolutely crippling. Not too long ago, I had a former team member reach out to me to ask for some career advice. We get together, and he was convinced he was going to lose his job. There were some changes going on at the company he was at, and his imposter syndrome had convinced him that there were other people on his team who were better than him, and if those jobs were going to go away, he would be the one to lose the job. But not only that, he had thought about it so much that he convinced himself that not only was he going to lose the job, but that he was going to end up homeless. Yes, we went from everything is fine to being homeless in all of 3 seconds. I stepped in at that point and said, whoa, time out. Your job and your career and skills are highly desired and highly valuable to your employer. And there's no proof that they're even going to cut any jobs. And you've earned all of your accomplishments. You are not a fraud. You are not an imposter. And what happened? What happened was it changed his entire perspective, both on himself, his career, and also his family. He defeated his imposter syndrome by sharing his secret of self-doubt and getting that encouragement that he was not a fraud, he was not an imposter. So let me ask all of you a question. Do you suffer from imposter syndrome? Do you experience those waves of feeling that you're not qualified and then living in the fear that someone is going to find out? Do you find it hard to accept recognition when people walk up to you and say, great job? Do you pass it off of, oh, I was just lucky, I was just in the right place at the right time? Do you suffer from the stress of worrying about whether or not you're going to meet the expectations of others? And in return, you turn yourself into a workaholic thinking that you got to prove yourself. Do you practice self-sabotage? Are you so fearful about the job you have and the work you're trying to deliver that you actually get so fearful you can't even start the work? Example being severe procrastination. Do you suffer from imposter syndrome? If we look around this theater, 75% of the people in this theater are currently, or will suffer from imposter syndrome. 75% of us. The question is what do you do about it? What do you do to push back? I'm going to give you 2 actions to try. Now, I'm going to warn you, these will require some risk. You're going to take a little bit of risk here. With risk comes change. What's the first thing? Find a comfortable, safe environment to share your secret. Share the secret that's telling you that you're not good enough. You haven't earned that role or position you're in. Now, in my case, sharing my secret on the front page of a national newspaper or right here on the TEDx stage may not be your choice for sharing your secret. The second, and probably the most important way that you can push back on imposter syndrome is to be an encourager. Encourage others. If you see somebody with skills and abilities and capabilities that just impress you, don't just think it. Tell them. Tell them. The simple act of verbalizing that to them changes their perspective. They begin to see themselves as the world sees them, not as that imposter syndrome film is going around in their head. Do not delay in pushing back on the imposter syndrome. Do not delay. I wasted 25 years of my career believing the lie that I wasn't good enough. So what lie is telling you that you're not good enough, that you're an imposter, that you're a fraud? Whatever that lie is, the opposite is the truth. And a truth will always have more power than a lie we can tell ourselves. Always. So what is that truth about that amazing you? What's the truth about you that is absolutely amazing? Believe that truth, and a new future will unfold. Thank you very much.